Welcome back to my channel. I have another journal to list in my shop. I'm excited about this one because this one's extra special. It is a repurposed book, and the book was a gift from Linda, one of my subscribers, and I've been waiting for the perfect time to use it, and I finally found the right journal kit, actually kits to use in it. The kits that I used in it are two kits from Seneca Pond Crafts, and if you'll remember, I featured her in one of my Etsy archaeology series, and she was so kind to let me pick more from her shop. And I wanted to play with some of her kits. One was called Attic Treasures and one was called Remember When. And I said, I have an idea to put both journal kits into one journal. So I used the majority of the kits. There's some pieces that didn't get in here, but all of the papers did. And they just went perfectly with this kind of nostalgic vintage look, the 8 cousins and family and memories and like treasures dug up in the attic and all that sort of thing. So it's a beautiful hardcover book, and that's intact. I mean, look at the gorgeous illustrations. I sewed the signatures right into the spine. It is I fabric reinforced it, but then I added some gold little butterflies flying here, and then I added some metal book corners as well. And there's a whole bunch of chunky goodness going on here. And for the closure, I used some vintage seam binding that I got at my local quilt shop, Hider Hangout. And I used my sewing machine to stitch all of these little bows on it. So that is adorable, and that can just come right off. So let's get into all of the goodness, because there's a lot of goodness in here. These are the original end papers of the book, and Linda left them in the book for me, so I definitely wanted to not touch them. And then, so what I did was, on this side, there's fabric here, reinforced the spine, but this page was from one of the kits, and I just glued it over the thin white paper here. And then this is one of the, almost everything is from her kit. So gorgeous pocket. Then I added a flashcard and a little bookmark I made from from some scrapbook paper. I added a sticker and some trim from Junk That Treasures. There were lots of these labels, and so I wanted to use my own handwriting in this book just because Louisa May Alcott was a big part of my growing up. I've read all her books multiple times, and I've read all of her famous books and a couple of her less famous books, but all of her famous ones I've read multiple times, and I just wanted to add something of me to this, so I just wrote different things. So this is the beginning, and this gorgeous paper from one of the kits, and you can click the link below to purchase this journal. I really hesitated selling it because I just love the cover so much. However, I don't want to hoard journals. I'd love to share this with somebody, and I don't need a new journal right now, so I'm sharing it. More beautiful paper from her shop, a little page from a rose book, miniatures, patio roses, another little label, and I wrote Inhale Beauty on that. I stamped this coffee-dyed paper and wrote, Write Your Thoughts. Look at these teeny weeny adorable clips. I mean, I think they're smaller than the Tim Holtz clips. I'm not sure. And so I added one of her postcards and then a little die-cut tag I had, and it was cut out of textured white cardstock, so I inked it up and added a sticker that says Adore and more of that lace, more of her beautiful pages. And then these weren't part of the kit, but if you remember from the Etsy archaeology series, she had these coffee dyed backgrounds, so I used those to print on the back of some of her journal pages so that there's lots of journaling. Another beautiful journal page, and this is a green dyed index card that I had in one of her little elements that I clipped on there. This is her paper. A little wallpaper pocket with a little collage, and then in here is one of her postcards and one of her mini tags, and I just added an eyelet. I am in love with her Etsy shop. I seriously mean that. I love her stuff, and I can't wait to continue using them. So I have a little, I think this is like a time card from Junk That Treasures, and then in the kits, there were these little envelopes, and I just did some stitching. They're little pocket envelopes, and then in there were some tickets in the kit, so I added tickets, and then I made a little wallpaper tag, and just also, these are little Tim Holtz letters. This is a complete page, so you can spell things out somewhere in the book. They look like little typewriter. My boys, you're going to hear them a lot in the background whining and fussing for some reason. It's just that time of day. So there's probably going to be a lot of pauses in this, and I apologize ahead of time for that. Another page from the kit. I added a label to this page, and I wrote "The story continues." And then here, she had these little, they're almost like pennants, but they're printed on cardstock, and I kind of turned it into, I added a little piece of a broken earring, a piece of an old chain, and a little bead on that as well. You can see that there. And then that's stapled onto this ticket from the kit to make a tuck spot. And this is just a Filofax page that says projects. Look at the time stopwatches in the back. This is going to be a long video. There's just so much to look at. So this is one of her tags, and then I added a tag and put an eyelet and glued it on here so you can write. I wrote Tales of Old on there. This is her paper as well. I mean, there were just so much. This is her paper. I didn't have to use any scrapbook paper because she had so much. Then these little file folders. I took two of. Okay, so here's one and here's one. I just cut the tab off of this one, and then I adhered them onto this piece of coffee dyed paper so you could actually open it up like that. This one says, "A sweet friendship refreshes the soul," Proverbs. And then I wrote mementos. So in here I clipped in a couple pieces of ribbon, lace, fabric, like maybe they came from dresses, their, families or friends' clothing that they wanted to remember, and then some little pieces of ephemera from the kits that are just like little memories. So that's tucked in there, and then here's a vocabulary card. And then this is her page as well. And this is her journaling card I clipped on. They're like all her pages. Then there's these giant envelopes. So I used them in the middle of the signatures. This book has 2 signatures. And so this envelope says keepsakes, and then a little teeny kitty clip. And then inside here, there's a couple little things, pieces of ephemera and postcard from her kit. And there's room to add more things. And then that's just held closed by this little kitty. So I thought that was super adorable. Gorgeous pages. This was hers. I added some embellishments here, and then I made a pink textured cardstock tag, and then I added another one of her images. And what I think is really neat, this I believe is a Harrison Fisher illustration, but there's roses and all of that. And what I thought was she must be Rose from Louise May Alcott's book. I mean, 8 Cousins is about Rose. The next book is Rose and Bloom. And so maybe this is her a little bit older, like in Rose and Bloom or something like that. So I thought that was kind of neat, and it just went well. So here's another one of her pages. A little cute gold binder clip is clipping on another one of her pockets. And there's a garment pin with a green jingle bell, and my oven is beeping. That is just what happens when you try to film while you're cooking supper. So another one of her cute little pockets, another ticket, and then I turned this into a little tag. This was a label from her kit, and so I just clipped that onto this page with this little mini binder clip. And there's the garment pin. More of her page. Oh, and then this is one of her journaling cards I just tucked right there. Gorgeous, gorgeous pages. So this was hers too. I love the book and the flowers. I added a Tim Holtz person there, and I made a little book, and it's called Little Photos. And then on the back we have some of the Tim Holtz people, and then inside there's room for journaling. And then these are like, I thought they're their family members, their dog, their friends, the cousins that are playing together. So I added lots of the little Tim Holtz tiny people, but there's still room for you to add stuff in there. So there's the little photo book in there. And another postcard clipped onto here. Look at that, just gorgeous. Look at the butterflies in the background. I added a paper ribbon stamp, and then I wrote "Laugh More." Gorgeous, gorgeous pages. And then this says "Be Kind, Work Hard," and then a little tag. These are just pieces of ephemera I had in my stash. Here's another one of her pages. This comes in the kit, and I stitched around each of the squares, so there's lots of texture. And then clipped onto this side is a piece of actual ephemera. This is from Jenny, so thank you, Jenny. She sent me some happy mail. This is from 1958, and I believe, I don't know, I think this is, yeah, it's from Germany. And what I thought was amazing, I can't read German, so I don't know what the letter says, but there is a really cool paper in here. Beautiful, beautiful handwriting from the 1950s. And there was a real picture enclosed. And how well does this go with the theme? family memories. And then it's even 1958 and written on the back. This is the actual thing I'm including with this. It is incredible piece of postal history. I mean, 1958, it's awesome. From Germany. So who knows, that could have been a family member or something like that. All right, so there's a little clip with some lace that I made. I added another label to her paper here, and I wrote intermission because we're halfway through the book. And then I added some lace to her label here to make a tuck spot. Added one of her journaling cards, and then I added a giant flash card that says more, and on the other side it says after. So we have those just clipped in there. And on here, I clipped one of her journaling cards here, and then this bird chickadee postcard. And then this page, I wrote enjoy life in my own handwriting. This is some of her coffee dyed paper. And then I stapled on these little receipts and some tickets from her kit. Beautiful, beautiful pages. I stamped a bicycle and I wrote to be continued, like it's riding off the page onto the next page. A little bit of bow tie washi. This page I love with all the postcards in the background and the flower. They're screaming. All right, so I have some Tim Holtz people there. This beautiful frame, and I wrote my family. And this is another one of her little envelopes, again, stitching on the back. And inside there's a vocabulary card and another little, chapter 1, the history of the rose from that little rose book that I have. And so that's clipped on there. And I made a texture journaling card, and I wrote love. Added some lace to this coffee dyed page, some stamping here. Beautiful, beautiful pages. Oh. And here's the envelope in the middle here. I added this Tim Holtz special delivery. And then inside of here is just a couple pieces of coffee dyed paper for journaling on. And I better hurry up. Supper's ready and my time's running out on my phone, or I'll have to start a new video. So there's another postcard. Here's a little clipped on piece of vintage lace, like maybe it was part of Grandma's tablecloth or something like that. And this says days gone by. Important thoughts, and then I added some stitched coffee dyed squares for that. Here's a little page from a reproduction Sears catalog that has like hairbrushes and things like that, and then one of her journaling cards. I love this page. And then here's one of the little file folders, and I just did some stitching on the tab. I added another one of her labels I stitched here. I added a Prima butterfly. I made a giant tag, and I added a You Make Me Laugh to this page. I clipped on a tag that I made from scrapbook paper and a little ticket from her kit. I used a Project Life card and cut half of the label and stitched it on there. This says Family Record. I love this page. And then I clipped on some coffee dyed papers here, and this is an old, like, I don't know how old it is. It's a flower bobby pin. I mean, it might not even be old. I think I got it in, I think it was like in a Goodwill junk bag or something like that, or I don't know how old it is, but I'm pretending anyway that it's old and vintage, and maybe it was, you know, their grandma's or their mother's like hairpin. Some washi, and then another one of her labels as a tuck spot. And then these are just some note pages that are little hearts clipped in there. Love this page with the doilies. This is the Project Life card, the quote box, and I wrote quotes. And some washi and a flower. Little vintage Flint card. I think this is from the 50s. And then we're to the back. Same end paper I put here. Another pocket, and then a coffee dyed index card. And an envelope. I added one of her tags. I just cut the top off. And then a little die cut stamp and butterfly sticker. Some stitching and flower. And then this is empty so that you can put whatever you want in it. So there's lots of room to add your own family memories and journaling and things like that. And then here's the end papers here. And I just added a little washi to reinforce that because they had separated slightly. So look at how gorgeous this is. I hope that you love it as much as I do. And it is in my Etsy shop. So please take a look at that and comment below what you think about how it came out. Please go over to Seneca Pond Crafts. Click the link below and give her a little bit of shop love because her stuff is amazing. I can't wait to pick out what I'm going to work with next.